Good afternoon. My name's Roger Owen. I've been a swimming pool contractor for the last 43 years. Ran for Congress back in 2006, 2008. Became a little bit disgruntled with the direction America was going into and moved to the Philippines early 2009. I've been promising to make a couple videos in reference to life in the Philippines, doing business here, being married to a Filipina, some videos on the swimming pool business in general here in the Philippines, what type of pools they build. But today what I'd like to focus on in this particular video, I receive a lot of inquiries when it comes to list of customers that I've done projects for here in the past. Now in the US and other first world countries, we can appreciate the value of having a customers list. But and let me just clarify from the very beginning. Just like America, where people are different in New York, say, from maybe living in Texas or living in California, the same holds true in the Philippines. You have 7,107 islands, some 70 different dialects of language here. And so the people that are in, say, the central Luzon, Manila area is vastly different from the people down in the Visayas or the people down in Mindanao. And so this is not a universal rule when I'm talking about today. I'm pertaining, and I've been all over the Philippines, but I'm making reference to the Manila area, central Luzon, Angeles, where the US bases used to be. Basically doing business here in this particular area in central Luzon. Now, as I shared with you earlier, in the Visayas and Mindanao, the people are more friendly towards foreigners, especially if you're an American. And so the reception is going to be quite a bit warmer than what you're going to get out of central Luzon. So forgive me if this seems a little bit alien to you if you happen to be in, say, Cebu, which is a beautiful area, or Davao, or any of the other areas. If you are an expat and you have lived in Manila, you're going to know what I say is true. And so, thank you for giving me the opportunity to disclose that. And now, I'll get on with the message. I made a small list today on the things I kind of wanted to cover, like doing business in the Philippines. If you're looking for a customer list, you're going to be greatly disappointed. I do not give out the identity of my customers. This is a third world country. It's not smart. Some of these customers, they're in very influential positions and they do not choose to be disclosed. They like their privacy, and that can be appreciated considering the lifestyle here in the Philippines. Privacy and safety are major issues. Now, the first thing I like to touch base on is, as a foreigner, you go in business here in the Philippines, who would you think your good customer would be? Well, we would naturally think that our customer would be another foreigner. Ironically, wrong. Believe it or not, no one knows a Filipino better than another Filipino. And in the central Luzon area, our best customers, believe it or not, have been other influential Filipinos. They already know the type of work they do here in the Philippines, and these are the people that contact us and are most genuine as far as wanting our service. Have we built very many pools in the Philippines? Unfortunately, if you're going through an engineer, an architect, a contractor, they do not give projects to outsiders. Not even someone from the Visayas, much less a foreigner. And so if you are putting your let's say you're a foreigner and you're building a house with a pool, and you're entrusting this entire project to this engineer or architect, forget it. We will never get recommended to you. You need to break down you need to take on a little bit of the responsibility yourself. Go on the internet. You need to research, the people that this engineer or architect bring to you. Because trust me, in the Philippines, it has a very tribal nature. The people are only going to give projects to other people in their family called clans, or to associates to where they get a kickback from. And so obviously, if you're a foreigner, if you think that you're going to acquire the best person for your project, that's not going to be the case. What you're going to acquire, if it's a recommendation, is someone that engineer or that architect or that contractor is very comfortable with. That's who they're going to recommend. And so, I don't want to say don't be lazy, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. Don't be lazy. Go on the internet yourself, do a little bit of research, double check, who these people, bring to you, and hopefully you'll make the right decision, because it's your money, and at the end of the day, it's not the engineer's problem if the wrong person builds your pool. That's your problem. It's your money. And so, I apologize, but I do want to bring that to your attention. Be part of the project, especially if it's your own home. Now, some of the other areas here that I wanted to cover, oh boy, this gets a little bit hard. Some of the other inquiries we acquire, they can be pretty rough at nature, or pretty rough in nature, I should say. We've had other pool builders send, I'm talking about out of Manila, and this is par. If you're going to do business here, I'm giving you a heads up. If you're going for a high ticket item and some of the other people out of Manila feel a little bit challenged by you, don't be surprised if you receive phone calls and you receive people pretending to be customers from your competitors in the form of goons. Remember, this is a third world country, and my wife and I, we've been approached on several occasions by people that in no way, shape, or form, was a customer, especially when they happen to be oversized, tattoos from one end of their body to the other. And it's embarrassing to say this, but we've been in very remote locations with these people, and thank goodness, because of our connections, we walked away unharmed. But the reality is if you're going in business, you need to be careful, especially the competition here in the Manila area. Now, down in Cebu and the other areas where I've done business in the past, this was never an issue, never a problem. Metro Manila is pretty rough, and you just need to take a little bit extra care if doing business here. Okay, some of the other things. Let me look at my list here, because being in front of a camera is not one of my best points. What I really specialize in is, swimming pools. There's virtually not a grain of sand I don't know in the construction of a pool. I've done it all. Gunite, shotcrete, hand-packed, hand-stacked, block poured, you name it, I've done it. And I can say, in all the years, in the thousands and thousands of pools I've been on, not only working for myself, but working for other very experienced pool contractors with long reputations and long histories in America, I never once seen another Filipino working on those pools. Not once. I did not even know what a Filipino looked like until I was 38 years old and I made my first trip to the Philippines. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, be a little bit selective when it comes to where these people say they get their experience from. It's easy to show you a beautiful color rendering of a beautiful pool, but taking that color rendering and turning it into a functional energy efficient, trouble-free pool is a completely different story. A swimming pool is unlike any other type of construction. You know, you're dealing with water which is very heavy, which is vulnerable to atmospheric conditions. You know, knowing something about prevailing winds, hydraulics, filtration, structural design, it does not relate with any other type of construction. A lot of the people in the pool business here in the Philippines, you know, they acquired their knowledge from, say, building homes, building roads, SM malls, and they take that experience and they try to apply it, you know, copy, you know, that's the Philippines. They try to apply it to a swimming pool. Unfortunately, as I shared with you just now, it has nothing in common. There is no college, there's no trade school. The swimming pool business is a very tight profession. You know, the people that are good, you know, we know who each other, you know, who we are, and we're very slow to give out information that we literally had to bleed and sweat for in the hot sun for over 40 years, you know, to a total stranger, which is going to take our knowledge, not even say thank you or give us a kiss, and, you know, cut our price on the next, you know, project. And so we have a tendency to be a little bit protective. And a large number of inquiries, as I shared earlier, they do happen to be from engineers, architects, contractors, other pool builders, that is, you know, trying to get the scoop on how do we build pools. You know, because in the Philippines, let's face it, the swimming pool industry did not start here. You know, it was Americans that brought swimming pool technology over, you know, through, you know, the military bases. And when we first brought it over, Filipinos looked at us and thought we were just absolutely crazy, you know, because their philosophy was, well, why should you build a concrete pool when you have an entire ocean to swim in? It took years and years before Filipinos actually acquired the concept of building pools and the benefit of it. And that basically originated from two areas. Number one, Filipinos, Balikbayans that returned home from living in a first world country, your OFWs, you know, that returned home and had money and they had experience living in other countries and they wanted a better life. And the biggest one was tourism. You know, the Filipinos here, they seen the value in tourism, and so they started building swimming pools. But unfortunately, when they started to build the pools, they really didn't have all the expertise they needed in order to, you know, put in a pool that would meet any kind of first world standards. And so what you ended up with was pools which were, let me just say, they were a little bit creative when they tried to build them. I'm being, you know, polite when I say that. And I've had the opportunity over the last 23 years off and on to see these projects, and usually the owners of these projects would ask me, you know, to come in and, you know, repair them to the best of my knowledge to try to bring them up to standards, which I was more than happy to do. Now, I'll be the first one to say, if you're happy with a Filipino pool builder, by all means, I do not want to take that project from them. Let them have it. But if you have concerns and you are looking for something that's going to be a little bit higher quality, higher standard, and quality isn't expensive, remember, mistakes are. Using good equipment, using the proper equipment, using good construction techniques is not more expensive. Because, you know, these other pool builders, if they bought the proper equipment, if they knew how to size it properly, their price would be no better than mine. Their labor is no, you know, any cheaper or expensive than, you know, the same labor we use, you know, which is obviously Filipino labor. The only difference is obviously supervision, and number two, unlike a lot of these other engineers and architects that's afraid to get dirty, I do get in the hole and I work alongside my men. I teach them the right way to do it, and I make sure the job is done right. And so that's the only difference really between our pools and other swimming pools. Let's see what else is on the list. I know I'm just kind of rambling on here. Okay, on the different types of swimming pools, I'm going to do a future video on that because that's a little bit extensive. I explained the location to you, where we're located. This here pertains basically to the central Luzon, Metro Manila area, say for like 100 kilometers in any given direction going away from Manila. As I said before, you get into the Visayas, you get into Mindanao. The perception of foreigners is much different than what it is. Here in the central Luzon area, to say the very least, there's kind of a hostility, maybe because of the American bases. And I kind of feel sorry for some of the other foreigners who happen to be Caucasian, because I'd hate to be German or some other Swedish, whatever, and being asked 17 times a day, "Are you an American? Are you an American? Are you an American?" Well, I think after about the 17th time, I probably want to club them on the head. It's unfortunately Filipinos, some of them, they're kind of infatuated with America, and it's kind of sad because, to be honest with you, I love the Philippines. I made the Philippines my home. And, there's good and bad in every country. And so, for my brethren that happen to come from England or Germany, Australia, whatever, we deal with it. And, all I can say is, just we wish each other the best. One other thing I'd like to touch base on, I've told you before, ironically, one thing that really shocked me was the vast majority of my solid leads, believe it or not, are Filipino. Another thing is the vast majority of my solid leads, they do not come from Central Luzon. They come from the Visayas, they come from Mindanao. No joke. Another thing kind of ironic, and I haven't quite figured this one out, when it does come to Caucasians, believe it or not, Americans, people from Europe, like from England, seem to be more qualified as far as a lead than I don't know why. My brethren down there in Australia, seems like they're always looking for just trying to steal a little bit of information, doing it on the cheap, then finding some Filipino to build it for them after they steal the information. And so Australia, I hate to say it, you got some good equipment in the pool business coming out of Australia. I use it, I believe in it. Zodiac, they put out the Jandy, very good product. They put out Barracuda pool cleaners. Australia has Pebble Tech, that originated from there. They have some very good products out of Australia. But when it comes to some of the people that I've done sales presentations for from Australia, I don't know why. It seems like they're just looking for information, and then they look to take the cheapest route possible. And so I apologize for that little bit of news, but any expats that's coming into the market and they're looking at doing business, as I said before, I was just trying to give you a heads up on what it's like doing business here. Let me look at my list one more time before I close down. Okay, introduction to business. I told you basically who my customers were. I explained the location. I told you about the future videos. I'll also be doing future videos on the issues when I ran for U.S. Congress back in 2006 and 2008. Americans will probably be interested in that. I'm a fiscal conservative. I was, obviously I believe in individual freedoms, individual rights. The libertarians endorse me. And so I'm not radical left, I'm not radical right. I just believe in fiscal responsibility, and the same thing goes towards our pools. Another thing I'm kind of ashamed to mention, but it's known, I'll bring it to the attention of the expats. Nothing uncommon. Contractor runs out of money, they go like this. And if you want your pool finished, you need to put money in their hands so they can finish the pool. Because some of the people in this country that try to build pools, they don't charge enough. And when they run out of money and your pool is half done, well, they're going to be looking for more money. And so, there's nothing new about this. You're going to hear about it. As far as the expats, talk to other expats that's been in the area for like 10, 15 years, at least 6 or 7 years, and just let them bring you up to date what it's like trying to do business here in the Philippines. Don't go out there and don't try to wing it, because business here in the Philippines is radically different. People that are balikbayans, people that are OFWs, they're Filipinos, but they are treated just like we are. They're treated as a foreigner, because they have foreigner dollars in their pocket. But one good thing about them is, number one, they understand the Filipino. Number two, they speak the language, the dialect. And they have a tendency to know how to survive a little bit better than an expat like you or me. And so, please feel free to, get in touch with them and let them give you a heads up on, how to protect yourself when you're here. Let's see, is there anything else? It looks like I've covered everything this time, and I want to say thank you for taking, giving me the opportunity to, share this information with you, and thank you for taking the time to view this video. Have a good day. Bye now.